And welcome back to another episode of the Power Podcast. I apologize. Well, I don't really apologize. I've been on vacation for the past week, so I haven't been doing any reviews on Raw or SmackDown or anything WWE, or on movies or anything else in the past week. Just been relaxing poolside by the beach, just out of the city for a while. It's nice to get away from work and get away from the rat race, as they say. So anyhow, today we're going to be talking about last night's SummerSlam 2016. Now, I'm going to start this off with a bold statement. SummerSlam 2016 was hella better than WrestleMania 32. Just saying. Just saying, my own personal opinion. Not saying it's right or it's in stone or it's law. Just an opinion. I thought SummerSlam was a hell of a lot better. Just the matches, the performances, and the energy was better. Not to say that there was some faults, because we're going to go over those. But anyhow, let's jump right into it. Now, I'm not going to cover the pre-show because I didn't get to see it all. I only saw a couple things, so I don't think it's fair for me to talk about all of them if I didn't see it. And to be honest with you, I'm already watching 5 hours of wrestling a week, and then I'm going to watch a pay-per-view once a month. The fact that this was a 4-hour pay-per-view, and then there's a 2-hour pre-show before that. You know, and it was my anniversary yesterday, so my wife wins over wrestling every time. So we went out for a nice supper. I recorded the SummerSlam. I didn't record the pre-show because I'm like, I can't stay up for 6 hours watching wrestling. Even with fast forwarding, you're looking at a 5-hour show. So anyhow, I did get to see some of them this morning, but like I said, I didn't get to see all of it, so I don't think it's fair for me to comment on the pre-show matches. So anyhow, we're going to jump right into the SummerSlam itself. So we kicked the show off with Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, a.k.a. now Jericho. So, Jerry KO, sorry, that's what it was. It almost sounded like Jarrett Hall. I don't know. They were fighting Enzo and Big Cass. I don't know. I keep saying this to my friends that watch wrestling. I say, you know what? They put Enzo in there. He gets his ass handed to him for a majority of these matches. And then Big Cass comes in and kind of saves the day, but then usually gets knocked out on the tags Enzo back in. The guy hasn't recovered yet, and then he gets his ass handed to him again. So it's this formula that's not working. They need to do something different. I know they're fan favorites, but I think we're going to have to eventually turn them heel, but right now they just can't afford to because they have enough heels. They don't need more. I just think that this match itself kind of buried Enzo and Cass. I don't think that they really stood out. They didn't have an excellent performance. These guys are capable of more. But I tell you, Kevin Owens, man, oh man, is he not only funny on the mic, funny sitting on the ring apron, imitating Enzo, doing his little stutter step dance. I cracked up. I'm like, this Kevin Owens. I say within 2 years, this guy will be the Universal Champ if he's still on Raw. I guarantee it. This guy's just got it all. His in-ring presence, his mic, and the guy's just great overall. Great match. The ending with Kevin Owens throwing Enzo into the air over his head, and then Chris Jericho catching him with a code breaker on the other side. It was a good idea, but it didn't execute very well. Like Jericho kind of caught him almost at the ground with the code breakers, so it's kind of not very well timed. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It was a good opening match. Wasn't great, wasn't stellar. I think Jericho and Owens stole the show, and I think Enzo and Cass kind of took a step backwards today or last night. I don't think they improved. It didn't make them a team to watch out for. So, anyways, your winners were Jericho. So they won that match. And I don't know if they're going to probably keep those two together because they are kind of comedy gold at the same time. Plus, they're both good wrestlers. Next up, we have the Women's Championship match. Charlotte versus the champion Sasha Banks. I enjoyed the match. Now, there were a few botches. And anybody that watched it, you notice it like, oh, geez, that was kind of cringeworthy. It looked like Sasha got injured once. I was like, oh, these women, like, they really went overboard. They were really putting on a good show last night. Like, I legitimately thought Sasha got hurt. And maybe she was injured. I don't know. But the finish to the match, was just fantastic. And when Sasha went for the bank statement, and Charlotte kind of used her height and weight advantage and just kind of pinned Sasha, and Sasha couldn't let go because she was hanging on to her move. So she unfortunately lost her title. Short title reign, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see Sasha getting the belt back somewhere down the line, because the fans do want her as champion. They like her as champion. But to be honest with you right now, Charlotte can get the heat that she needs. She makes a great women's champion. She's got the history. She's got, the Flair name. She carries herself well, and she's incredibly gifted. She's athletic. She, like I said, she's a heel. She can get the heat that's needed. Sasha is a good face, but the fans are behind her. But I think they want this feud to extend longer. So I think we're going to see them feuding for probably another 6 to 8 months, if not a little longer. Well, because if they don't improve this women's division on Raw, like Nia Jax, once she starts getting into the mix with these top stars in the women's division, she's going to mow them over. There's nobody other than Charlotte, I think, that can take on Nia Jax, to be honest with you. So that's just my opinion. So anyhow, then on to the Intercontinental Championship, The Miz versus Apollo Crews. Now, short match, very short match. I'm getting really sick of the Maurice at ringside. I don't think she contributes anything other than she kind of comes over to the challenger occasionally and kind of distracts them. But she, I don't know, when they did the thing with Darren Young before where she fell down, I'm getting tired of the damsel in distress thing. It's getting old, but all she did yesterday or on the pay-per-view was she kind of came towards Apollo Crews and distracted him as he was crawling back into the ring, and that gave The Miz an opening. But I'm like, Apollo Crews, man, I figured for sure they're going to put him over last night. They just didn't. The guy's got the talent, he's got the skills, he's got the look. There's a lot of not big, like, John Cena, big type wrestlers in WWE right now that hold their own, that can give them a championship. Man, you give some of these, like I figured last night, I figured all the belts were changing hands, except for the Universal, which was going to be the first time winner. I figured all the belts should have changed hands last night, but we'll go over everything. But so far, the women's changed. That was good. The Intercontinental, Crews, man, he can overpower The Miz. I'm sorry, The Miz is a good worker. I don't think he's top tier anymore. He's a mid-carder, in my opinion. The guy is talented. I just don't think he's got enough charisma to go and be this champion that people need the Intercontinental Champion to be. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have I don't know what it is. He's missing something. Hey, the guy makes movies and everything else. Well, that's wonderful, but your in-ring performance is subpar. Like when they put AJ Styles came in a feud with The Miz, I was like, oh geez, we're like pushing AJ down to the bottom, because I didn't think of Miz as a contender of anything. I heard he's been heavyweight champion. Like I said, I have been on hiatus probably since 2007, 2008 with wrestling. I just came back in 2015, so I missed a lot. And I'm not going to go back and watch it all. I don't have the time. Full-time worker. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I ain't got time to watch all this wrestling if I'm working full-time. So unless people want to pay me and I can stay at home and work, I could do that. Not a problem. Anyways, The Miz wins. He goes over Crews, retains his title. I imagine we'll see them down the line. Now, one thing I want to mention was during the pre-show, and I didn't mention this, I would love to see Baron Corbin go after The Miz. He did a great promo on the pre-show that I saw, where he kind of came out and he was kind of being a total dick. And he was kind of like, he's kind of got this like lone wolf attitude. And he came out to where Jerry, the King Lawler, Lita, Booker T, and I can't remember the other lady's name, were out there doing their pre-show thing, and he comes out to talk, and he looks at Booker T. He's like, "Yeah, nice watch. Mine's nicer." And he did this other thing. He looked. He said something else. Then he put his bubble gum, took it out of his mouth, put it on the table beside the king, and then the blonde lady went to ask him. He goes, "I'm not here to answer your questions," and walked away. But he went off on about Kalisto being injured, being at home, and I'm going to make sure you're there permanently. I think him going after the Miz, and maybe have you're going to have Baron Corbin, the Miz, Kalisto, and Cruz, kind of the four of them into a mix of a match. They don't have to be a four-way or anything like that, but I think those four need to have some kind of storyline going. And I'd love to see Baron Corbin come out on top. This guy's got heel written all over him, and he's got it down. Like right now, he's whooping the crap out of Kalisto week to week, just beating him up. And it's kind of the bully thing. He's beating up on a smaller guy. But hey, Kalisto was United States champion. So the guy's Kalisto can fight back. He's a tough guy. He's been tag team champion, I believe, and he's been United States champion. I think that and he took on Ryback. Christ, he beat Ryback twice in the past year? I don't know. I just think Corbin's got, to me, he's like Kevin Owens. He's got that upper tier. He's getting up to there. He's gonna be there within a year or two. We're going to see Baron Corbin coming into he's already coming into his own, but I'd like to see him with a championship belt around his waist. I think the guy deserves it. Now, next match, and to me, the match of the night, because it involved hashtag beat up John Cena, AJ Styles versus John Cena. And when I saw the backstage vignettes of AJ with Anderson and Gallows, and Finn Balor came out, now that was priceless, where the three of them were putting up the Wolfpack sign, and Finn just kind of smiles and walks away from them. I'm like, dude, that's cold, man. Those are your bros from New Japan. But anyhow, I figured for sure that the club was going to come out and help AJ. No, hell no. It was. I'm going to say it was the best match of the night. AJ Styles with anybody looks great. Looks phenomenal. But I'm going to say this, and I'm going to probably catch flack for it, but John Cena put on a hell of a match last night. That guy, when the match was going on, I'm like, oh, geez, you know what? Cena's going to win this damn thing. I'm going to be pissed. It really looked like John Cena had that match. When he went for that second attitude adjustment off the top turnbuckle, and AJ landed in the middle of the ring, I was like, oh, no, not again. This is what happened to him when he lost last time. And then he kicked out. I was like, what? I was laughing my ass. I'm like, this is awesome. Still didn't think he was going to win, especially when Cena got him in the STF for the second time. I was like, oh, no. This isn't happening. He's going to... No, and again. Now, I made on Twitter, I made a hashtag. Hit Cena twice with the Styles Clash to win. And he did hit him with the Clash for the second time, and then he went for the phenomenal forearm after the second... he went for the phenomenal forearm after his second Styles Clash, and he hits Cena. I'm like, oh God. And then 1, 2, 3, gets a clean pin over John Cena. That has now just pushed him to the next level. You have beaten the 15-time world champion. You've beaten him. He's beaten John Cena. He's beaten Chris Jericho. He's beaten The Miz. All heavyweight champions, previous heavyweight champions. That puts him in a new category. He puts him up a level. I would love to see him just steamroll over Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose would not be able to hold his own against AJ Styles. AJ's too fast, too agile, and has too much of an arsenal for Dean to take on. But we'll see what happens. Hell, I'd love to see AJ steamroll over The Miz and take the title and give it some credibility. Just saying. That's my opinion. Anyhow, match of the night. So if you get a chance to see it, watch AJ Styles versus John Cena SummerSlam 2016. Stole the show because there's a gentleman on YouTube. His name is Dead on Dave. And I was watching his review this morning of SummerSlam. Now, I really like Dead on Dave's stuff. Like, the guy knows his wrestling. He knows the ins and outs. And he has a really good like podcast show. And if you get a chance, go check it out. Subscribe, especially if you're a wrestling fan. His stuff is like, it's primo. His stuff is really good. And he interacts with people. You can call him to a show. He'll answer questions and everything else for you. Just a great show. But anyways, he said, and I agree with him 100% on this, after the AJ Styles and John Cena match, the show kind of lost steam. It really did. And it shouldn't have, because you still got 2 heavyweight championship belt matches, and you've got Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton yet. And you've got, 3 title matches. There's Rusev and Roman Reigns yet. So you got 3 title matches and the main event. And the show lost its steam. It just really did. And Dead on Dave, I go check out his his thing. When I post this to SoundCloud, I'll put a link to Dead on Dave's YouTube channel. He does like he covers all the wrestling every week. So I just kind of do the Raw, SmackDown, and the pay-per-views. He covers the Cruiserweight. He covers NXT and their pay-per-views. So he's very extensive and his coverage is really good. So check him out. It's Dead on Dave on YouTube. So check it out. So next up, after AJ Styles match, we got the Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson match. This match, man, Anderson and Gallows should have won the championship. This is BS of, Big E's out for 3 weeks due to a contusion. The guy was probably on vacation, probably. I doubt that he actually got injured. He may have. When you've watched that ring post to the balls from 3 weeks ago, yeah, it looked like he may have sacked himself. But, man, who hasn't been kicked in the balls? I don't know. I've been kicked in a few times. It hurts, but I got over it pretty quick. Maybe he had a ball sent up inside. I don't know. Couldn't find anything. He probably on vacation. Anyways, Jon Stewart came out, and my son's like, who's that? I go, that's funny man Jon Stewart from The Daily Show, and he likes wrestling, so they bring him in occasionally. And I guess he was on last year's SummerSlam, and I didn't start watching wrestling until after last year's SummerSlam, so I missed what he did. But apparently he hit John Cena with a chair, and Cena gave him an AA. So, Stewart can be funny. I enjoyed him on The Daily Show. I liked his political funniness, but I didn't like him coming out to be part of the New Day. Just thought there was no reason for it. You could have had anybody else join the New Day. I don't know. You could have had a fan for all I cared. Jon Stewart, no, it just didn't work. Anyhow, so the match was okay. Anderson and Gallows kind of had control of the match. Looked like they were on their way to winning, and all of a sudden, they're about to give Anderson and Gallows are about to give Jon Stewart the ring post-itis, and just as they're about to line him up, out comes Big E, and he starts suplexing everybody all over the place and throwing everybody around. Ref disqualifies the New Day, and your winners are, by disqualification, Anderson and Gallows. I'm like, come on, just give the guys, you know what? Demolition held the belt, I think they said for 479 days, and these guys are only at 364 now, 365 they held free. So we're going to probably get another year of this? I'm like, come on. You can't, you're basically making the rest of the talent look like crap because doesn't even look like anybody has a chance. And if I don't believe somebody has a chance, I don't care about that belt. You see what I'm saying? I'm starting to not care about the Intercontinental belt because I'm like, what? People can't beat The Miz? Give me a goddamn break. The Miz? New Day, yeah, they're talented, but they're 3-on-2. No matter how you put it, it's 3-on-2. It's kind of like Demolition at the end of their time, where they had Crush come in, and it was 3-on-2 all the time. I don't care for that. If it's going to be 3-on-2, it's not a fair match. And these guys are the faces, and to me, they're kind of cheating. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Yeah, Big E could have came out after maybe. I don't know. It just didn't make a lot of sense. I didn't enjoy it. I felt bad for Anderson and Gallows because those guys really deserved a title. But we'll see what happens. I believe their feud's going to continue for a while. I don't see the club being done with them yet. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so next up we have Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler. Now, I've been reading reviews on this, and I'm kind of on the fence of how I really truly feel about this match. I felt it started off great. Ziggler and Ambrose were kind of going back and forth, and Dean, like in the first minute or two, looked like he actually was, putting over Ziggler. It looked like he was really, how do you put it? He was selling Ziggler. Like, he had been pissing him off for the past few weeks, and Ziggler was really getting mad and kind of cutting old Shawn Michaels type promos. I just needed this little bit of space and throws a kick in the face kind of thing. Yeah, Ziggler is a version 2 of Shawn Michaels. Not the greatest version, and I don't think Ziggler's a bad wrestler. I don't know. I just felt that Dean Ambrose during the match really was unprofessional because he was making fun of Ziggler during the match. Like, come on, bring it, bring it, bring it. And I felt that Ambrose wasn't really selling anything that Ziggler was really doing. And when he hit his dirty deeds at the very end, and he just kind of motioned to the ref, come on, I'm done with this fool. I'm like, what? I felt bad for Ziggler. I'm like, because a lot of people are saying that, yeah, he's done. He's over. This is his last shot. I'm like, you know what? I actually thought he might have won last night because he's had a fire under his ass for the past few weeks. But the match apparently was 15 minutes long, but it felt like it was only about 3 or 4 minutes. It felt like it was really short. And it may be because, I don't know, every bit of offense that Ziggler hit, Dean would sell for 10 seconds and then he'd be back up and going. We're seeing shades of the old Ambrose that I did not like. Like, I know you're the champion and you're the lunatic fringe and you're the crazy guy, but you're not putting over certain people. I don't understand this. I don't know how he doesn't go back to the back room and they don't go, yeah, man, that match was shit. And you didn't put over Ziggler at all. Like, I felt Ziggler had no chance after a while. I was like, well, man, Dean's kind of like mocking him. I'm like, I don't know if this is just going to be a feud that's going to carry on. Maybe it will. I don't know. But if it's going to continue on like this, it's going to be total crap. And I was very disappointed in this match. I thought it could have been a hell of a lot better. I think Ziggler could have either been put over and given the belt, or I don't know. It could have been some much closer calls. But, like, Ziggler jumped up at the very end. He jumped up and he ran up, jumps up to the top rope to grab Ambrose for the second time. And Ambrose just kind of poo-poos him and throws him down and hits him with the dirty deeds. I was like, oh. And then, but like the way he motioned to the ref, hey, come on, I got this guy. And he's like, this match is done. That's the attitude it looked like he had. I was not impressed with that. It wasn't a good Dean Ambrose match. The last couple matches he's had have been pretty good, but I felt that one was not one of them. So anyhow, your heavyweight champion, Dean Ambrose, retains his title. Next up, I'm not going to even really talk about this match because I thought it was like, it's like watching your favorite TV show and every week is great, great, great. Then they give you that one filler episode and you're not impressed with that filler episode. Well, that was the six women tag match. Now, you had Nikki Bella, Natalya, and Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch, Naomi, and Carmella. This should have just been either Natalya versus Becky Lynch match, or have Becky Lynch out at the ring and saying, I want to fight someone, and have Nikki Bella come out. One of those two things would have been better than this mess, just a mess of a match. I'm sorry, but Alexa Bliss, Naomi, and Carmella, and to me, to a certain degree, Nikki Bella, I'm going to get in shit for that. People are going to be mad at me. Those four were not ready for prime time. I'm sorry. I don't care that Nikki Bella is John Cena's wife. I don't care. That doesn't mean you have his charisma or his skill set. I found that from what I've seen of her in the past, she's definitely improved. And like I said, I would have preferred to see Nikki Bella fight Becky Lynch or Natalya fight Becky Lynch. Those would have been a hell of a lot better than the mess that I watched. That was his match. Nikki Bella gets to win with a TKO. I think that's what they call it, TKO. So her team wins. It was just a mess. I don't even want to talk about it. It was just terrible. I will say I enjoy watching Natalya fight. There's just something about her. Maybe it's because she's from the Hart family, and I'm a big Bret Hart fan. But no, watching her wrestle is fantastic. I'll watch her wrestle anybody any day. Up next is the pinfall or submission only to determine the inaugural WWE Universal Champion. And it's Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. Now, Finn Balor came out as Demon King. Now, as you all know, as I've said week to week, I don't know much about NXT. I've seen a bit, but when I seen Finn Balor wrestle, he didn't really do the Demon King. It was always just Finn Balor. And then the announcers kind of like Corey Graves was, I think it was, no, not Corey Graves. Yes, Corey Graves, sorry. I want to make sure I got his name right. He kind of went on and told everybody what the difference was between Demon King and Finn Balor. Demon King is the place where Finn Balor goes when he wants to be ruthless and aggressive and a mean-spirited person to get the wins that he needs. And the way he explained it, I was like, okay, makes sense to me now, so I understand the difference. Pretty damn good match. Like I haven't been hype on Rollins lately. I think him talking on the mic way too much the last few weeks in Raw. I'm like, geez, just wrestle, buddy. I'm like, come on. And his wrestling hasn't been that great lately to me. This is my own opinion. But their match was fantastic. And I thought Rollins was going over. I wanted Finn to win, but I sure as hell thought Rollins was winning. I was like, oh, geez, especially when he hit the pedigree. I'm like, because not too many people kick out of it. So, but anyways, back and forth. Like Finn Balor's fast as hell. And Michael Cole, it's called a Pele kick, dude. It's not an over-the-head kick. Learn it. I don't know. Michael Cole, you drive me nuts when you announce matches. You don't even get the moves right. That's why I like listening to Ronaldo, man. That guy can call anybody and give you the names of the moves, tell you everybody's history. Like, I don't know. Like, Saxton and Graves on Raw are great. Especially Graves because he is a wrestler, or he was a wrestler, so he can give you more insight than Michael Cole can. I just think Michael Cole, I don't know, you guys juiced in somehow. I don't know how the hell he has a job. That's just my opinion. Michael Cole, I don't hate you. I just don't think you're good as an announcer. You are, to me, still the guy that should be in the back interviewing people. You should not be up front. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But anyhow, the match was great. Back and forth. Finn Balor hitting those drop kicks and nailing Rollins into the corner, doing the coup de grace, short distance and long distance. I was like, damn, man. I don't know how you jump off top rope, land on somebody's chest, and not hurt him. That's some skill, I'm telling you. It really. Now, what I don't like is the power bomb to the turnbuckle that Rollins does. Like when he did it to Finn Balor outside, and he hit him to the oh God, brain farting here. He took him to the guardrail and just slammed him into it. I was like, what the hell? It looked like Finn actually got hurt. I had to rewind it and watch it. I'm like, he does kind of slam his right arm into it, but I'm like, man, you put Sting out of commission with that move, and Sting takes the blame for it. Like, oh, I didn't land properly. No, man, that's just a dangerous move because you're really free-falling and you can't see what's behind you. That's a dangerous move, and I don't know. They'll probably get rid of it. They got rid of the curb stomp. I can't see them why they wouldn't get rid of this. But anyhow, Finn went on. Man, he's fast and agile, and I just enjoyed the match. It was pretty good. It was probably my second favorite of the night. And Finn Balor gets the win and becomes your first WWE Universal Champion. So we're going to see what's going to be happening here the next few weeks on Raw, because Seth Rollins sure as hell ain't done with Finn Balor. But no, it's good. Hey, maybe Finn Balor being the champion and he'll reform the club. Who knows? I'd like to see that. Or maybe the club's going to be pissed about the snub and they're going to go after him. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Next up, we have Rusev versus Roman Reigns. Now, I was looking forward to this match because I'm like, Roman Reigns the past few weeks has really stepped up his game on the mic and in the ring. The guy after his suspension, he's come back with a vengeance. He's doing a hell of a good job. Anyhow, the match didn't even get started. They were beating the hell out of each other outside the ring for, I don't know, probably 5-10 minutes. Refs and then Rusev ended up, he looked like he was hurt. So they pulled Roman Reigns away from him, and Rusev like, they're helping him to the back, and out comes Reigns again, spears him and knocks him to the ground, and So basically, it was a forfeit, I guess they called it. It was not a disqualification or anything. Just basically, the match never happened because they never got in the ring to start fighting. So Rusev retains the title. I kind of understand why they didn't want to just cleanly put Roman Reigns over Rusev. They want Rusev to be this monster. But there's other guys in the wings that are bigger monsters, like Braun Strowman. Stop putting him fighting these nobodies every week. Give him Roman Reigns. Let him steamroll over Reigns. Let him steamroll over Rusev. Mark Henry, Big Show. You've got these big guys. You've got other big guys that Roman can go after. So we'll see what happens with this. I'm not too sure that Reigns is going to eventually beat Rusev for the title. He could beat him last week on Raw in the ring. So that may be his only victory over Rusev, a non-title match. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so your final match of the night. Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton. Brand Raw versus Brand SmackDown Live. I had high hopes for this match. I truly did. Truly had high hopes. Aside from the Finn Balor match, after the AJ Styles match, I tell you, like, the matches were just not great. Like, you had after you had the tag team match with the New Day, not so good. Dean Ambrose match, not so good. The 6 women tag match, not so good. Finn Balor match and Seth Rollins, good match. Rusev and Lana and Roman Reigns match, not good. Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton has gold written on it, but it came off as not even a bronze medal. Just terrible. Number one, it looked like Randy Orton was either not selling Brock Lesnar's suplexes, because if you watch him do suplexes, when Brock grabs him, it looks like Randy's having trouble getting up off of the ground and doesn't want to sell them. And then after 3 of them, and it looked like Brock was having trouble lifting them. I was like, these don't look that good. They don't look like they're impacting him hard. And then when, Randy's hitting Brock when they're in the corner, like Brock started off by giving him like 9 or 10 shoulders in the corner, and Randy's trying to punch him in the back like he's no selling. I'm like, what the hell is this shit? Didn't you guys go in the back and say, this is what we're going to do? Don't just go out there and just free for all. That's what it felt like. It felt like there was no script. It was like, here's how it's going to end, but you guys do whatever the hell you want in the middle. No, it just didn't work. The only part I enjoyed was when Randy did the RKO on the announcer's table. That was probably the highlight of the match for me, I would say. Now, anybody who watches it, I've watched it 3 times now, when Brock Lesnar took his gloves off, because for a moment there, it looked like Randy was no-selling something, and next thing you know, Brock took off his gloves, and he gave Randy a legit elbow to the head. He did give him an elbow to the head. Watched it 3 times, slow-moed it, definitely contact with the head. How hard? I don't know. Randy rolls over, and a second later, there's blood everywhere. Now, did he blade? I didn't really pay attention to when he could have bladed before Brock hit him in the head. He could have done that. He could have bladed before he took the blow to the head. A blow to the head after doing a little blade, and he hit him quite well with that elbow, yeah, it would cause him to cut open and bleed. And being that we're in the PG era, they don't want that. They don't want the blood. They're not going back towards the Attitude, because now that the WWE's a publicly traded company, they've got to watch what they're doing. And there was a lot of blood. There was a lot of blood. Like when you look at the floor, the mat, it was blood everywhere. And then Brock was kind of, ground and pounded him a couple of times. But the ref or the doctor, ringside doctors came out, and they were kind of try to, don't show the blood, let's cover it up kind of thing. And they kind of showed a gash. I don't know. That was kind of dude's going to need some stitches, that's for sure. The match ended with a TKO because Randy couldn't go on. And a lot of people online are like, was it real? And I'm like, I don't know. To be honest with you, what I felt was, and it's probably all just a work, and I'm falling right into it. I felt Randy Orton was no selling a certain move. I don't remember what it was. I'll have to go back and watch it. And then when I think it was a suplex. And then Brock was kind of like, he took off his gloves, like, screw this, and came up and just went over and gave him a good elbow to the head. And then that's kind of where it went sideways. I was like, holy shit, dude's bleeding. But like you said, like I said before, this is probably just a work. We're probably going to see this again, probably at WrestleMania or something like that. They'll build it up. Maybe not. Who knows? Maybe Survivor Series. I don't think they're going to wait till WrestleMania. I think Brock is going to be, as many other people are saying, Brock is going to probably fight Goldberg by WrestleMania. A lot of people are speculating that Goldberg will be back and do a feud with Lesnar. Lesnar at the 2K17 game event was interviewed by WhatCulture.com, and you guys check them out. They're really good with their wrestling as well. And Adam was interviewing Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, and when asked about if he would like to do a thing with Goldberg, he's like, "Oh yeah, I wanted to do this 15 years ago or 10 years ago with him." And they had their crappy match back then because they were all leaving the company at the time, so they didn't give you a good match. And Brock goes, "Yeah, this time it'll be a different story to how it ends." So, because Brock has definitely evolved since back in the day. He's like a beast, and you just can't go over him. Paul Heyman is a great straight man for Brock Lesnar because Brock's not good on the mic at all, dropping shit bombs on Raw. It's PG, Brock. You gotta remember, you're not in the UFC now. You can't be swearing on TV, my friend. When he was talking to the Heath Slater last week, and I don't give a shit about your kids. But anyhow, I would like to see Brock versus Goldberg. I'm pretty sure Brock would go over Goldberg, but I think a lot of fans are nostalgic for some of the older wrestlers. But as long as you're not putting, Goldberg hasn't wrestled for how long? I don't know. It's probably 6-7 years. Maybe he's doing independent stuff. I don't know. People probably can't afford him on the independent. But anyhow, you can't bring a guy back in and have him steamroll Brock Lesnar unless you have him come back 5 or 6 months. But somebody did say that Goldberg had just had, it might have been Dead on Dave that said, yes, it was Dead on Dave, said on his SummerSlam review that people were expecting Goldberg back last night, and I missed it in the interview with Goldberg that they had earlier. Was at the 2K17, I think it was. He said he just had double knee surgery. So yeah, sure as hell he wasn't showing up last night. And I didn't know about that. So when the crowd started cheering Goldberg, I was like, holy shit, he's going to come out? But no, did not show. Anyhow, but I'd like to see Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar at the WrestleMania. I wouldn't make it the main event, though. I'd make it like maybe the second or third from the top. But anyhow, overall, I enjoyed SummerSlam way more than WrestleMania, but the second half was a little lackluster. I found AJ Styles and John Cena set the bar way too high for everybody else, and the only people who came close to it in the second half was Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. But overall, I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed it way more than I did WrestleMania. I'm guessing that all the main, like Royal Rumble and all these, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series must be 4-hour shows. I don't know. Because the rest of them are 3. So, But 4 hours was a lot to watch, and it was entertaining. I did enjoy it more than, I've enjoyed it more than any other pay-per-views this year, to be honest with you. So, coming up to the next big one, Survivor Series, we'll see what happens. Anyhow, I've been going on for almost 40 minutes here, so I'm going to have to edit this and get it posted for you guys. So, until next time, take care.